Welcome to the Plato Paradigm, a paradigm shift in reading Plato's dialogues. Episode 20, Hippias Minor 372c to 373a. Hippias is probably thinking that Socrates doesn't know when he's been defeated because Socrates insists on talking and saying how much he wants to be with wise men or experts like Hippias, and he's just not stopping. This is one of those occasions where it looks like Socrates is just giving a long speech, but the problem is that Hippias isn't participating. That's the only reason we have lots and lots of lines of Socrates here. He's just been saying how he appears not to know anything now because his opinions differ so much from those of the experts that he talks to. Hen de tuto thalmasion echo agathon, homesod ze, ugar aischunomai manthanon, ala punthanomai kai eroto, kai charin polen echo to apokrinomeno, kai udena popote apestere sa charitos. I have this one amazing thing which saves me, for I am not ashamed to learn, but I ask for information, and I ask questions, yes, no questions, and I am full of gratitude to someone answering, and I have never robbed anyone of gratitude. He's full of gratitude because he isn't full of money. He can't pay teachers, but at least he can be grateful. Ugar popote exarnos egenomen mathonti, emotu poiumenos to mathema enaihos hiurema. For I have never denied learning anything, and here he means learning from someone else, pretending as if the thing learned was a discovery of my own. Al encomiadzo ton didaxantame hos sophononta apophainon ha emathon par autu. But I praise the one who taught me as being an expert, with me displaying the things I learnt from him. Socrates here is talking like a student of a sophist to a sophist. It's as if knowledge is passed from the sophist to the student. There is no talk here about understanding, working one's way to concepts on one's own. This is all an attempt to bring Hippias back into the conversation as someone who appears good in being an expert. But Socrates does tend to emphasize here the effect it has on the student, which is not usually the emphasis that Hippias gives to things. He only emphasizes his own expertise. That's it. He's the one who appears good. He doesn't want his students to appear good. That would detract from his own appearance of goodness. If Hippias is the expert, the student must be the most stupid person alive in order to contrast with the expert, and if so, the student would disagree with the teacher, and this in fact is what Socrates now says, in effect. Kai de kai nun hasu leges homologosoi ala diaferomai panus fodra, kai tut iu oida hoti dieme gignetai, hoti toiutos emi hoios per emi, hina meden emoton medzon epo, emoigar fainetai o hippia pan tunantion e hosu leges. And indeed, now the things which you say, I don't agree with you, but I differ very strongly, and this I know well, that this happens because of me, because I am the sort of person that I am, so as not to call myself something greater. For Hippias, everything seems to me to be the opposite of what you say. Disagreeing with your teacher might sound a bit offensive at the beginning, but if you think about it, if the sophist is the expert and the student is the opposite of the expert, then everything must appear opposite to him. It should be clear that Socrates is not giving his own true opinion. He must have his own ideas about things, but he is presenting himself here as the opposite of Hippias. Hippias is the expert. Socrates eristically knows nothing, and he has the opposite opinions to the expert. It's interesting that even someone who doesn't know anything still has opinions. This happens even today. We see it all the time on the internet. Hoi blaptontes tus anthropus kai adicuntes kai pseudomenoi kai exapatontes kai hamartontes hecontes alame acontes beltius enai hoi acontes eniote mentoi kai tunantion doce moi tuton kai planomai peritauta delon hotidiatome denai. Those who harm people and commit injustice and lie and deceive and make mistakes willingly but not unwillingly seem better than those who do all of those things unwillingly. Sometimes, however, it seems to me also the opposite of these, and I wonder with regard to them. Clearly through not knowing. Nunide ento paronti moi hosper cate bole perieleluthen, cae docus simoi hoi hecontes examartanontes, periti beltius enai ton aconton. Now, at the moment, it's as if I'm having an episode, and those making mistakes about something willingly seem to me to be better than those who make mistakes unwillingly. Aetiomaide tu nun parontos pathematos, tus emprosthen logus aetius enai, hoste finestai nun ento paronti, tus acontas tuton hecasta poiuntas poneroterus etus hecontas. I blame the previous arguments for what is happening now at the moment, that now at the moment those doing each of the things unwillingly seem to be more worthless than those doing each of the things willingly. It is the case that the previous arguments have led to the conclusion that doing anything willingly is better than doing anything unwillingly, but should we blame the arguments? If we find that the conclusions contradict other opinions that we hold, it would be the dialectic way to consider which of the opinions is correct and remove the other opinions. The reason for thinking that doing anything willingly is better than doing anything unwillingly is the idea that ability is a good thing in itself. This is what Hippias has. Hippias has ability. Because he has ability, he appears to be good, which is why he is happy to be seen as the expert who is able to tell the truth and to lie. It is this assumption about ability which we should be examining. The fact is that they haven't really touched on this point beyond showing that Hippias is the expert and therefore able to do anything at all. Being able to do something means that you choose to do something, which means that you do that thing willingly. Therefore, this is Socrates' conclusion at the moment, it is better to do things willingly than to do things unwillingly. And for some reason, he's emphasizing all of the negative activities you can do willingly. We recall that Hippias, in his attempt to escape the refutation in the previous argument, has exploited the opinion of the many that doing bad things willingly is worse than doing bad things unwillingly. It didn't matter to him that this contradicted his original position of ability being a good thing in itself, because he had no intention of carrying on the argument after that escape. Clearly, Socrates has other ideas. Suun charisai kai mephtoneses iasastai tempsuchenmu, polygar toi meizon me agathon ergase amathias pausas ten psychein e nosu tosoma. So you, do me a favor and don't begrudge healing my soul, for it is a far greater good that you do stopping the ignorance in the soul than disease in the body. This harks back to Olympia, where Hippias, according to Socrates, has more confidence in his own intelligence than athletes have in their body. It's tempting to say, and many scholars have said it, that Plato says or thinks or believes that the illness of the soul is ignorance, and therefore the health of the soul would be complete knowledge. We have to remember that the context for this is Socrates talking to Hippias, a sophist. Does Socrates himself think that complete knowledge is the health of the soul? Does he believe that ignorance is the illness of the soul? We only have to look at Hippias, who is the expert in everything. He knows everything. Is his soul healthy or not? It's quite simple. Is there such a thing as a healthy soul? And if so, what would make the soul healthy? This is still something we haven't answered. But complete knowledge of everything certainly isn't the answer. Macron men un logon e theles legen, prolego soi hoti uk an me iasaio, ugar an akoluthe saimi, hosper de arti e theles moi apokrines thai panu oneses, oimaide ud auton se blabeses thai. If you want to give a long speech, I'm telling you in advance that you wouldn't heal me, for I wouldn't follow. But if you want to answer me like you did just now, you will benefit very much. And I think that you yourself wouldn't be harmed. Socrates is being nice about it, but he's not being too subtle. He's steering Hippias away from a rhetorical competition back to heuristics. At the same time, he's adding the element of benefit, which isn't in heuristics. But Hippias himself wouldn't accept that Socrates really wants to be benefited. He can just see that Socrates wants question and answer format. This whole passage comes just after the middle of the dialogue, and it separates quite nicely the first whole argument about lying from the second argument, which we will hear in the next few episodes, which is to do with doing bad things intentionally or unintentionally. So Socrates has said his piece, but Hippias is still not willing to enter the conversation again. So what is Socrates going to do now? We'll see next time.